The Tigers are headed back to the FCS Playoffs. The Tiger Football Report, presented by the Green Turtle, starts now.
For an athlete, there's nothing scarier than a torn ACL.
Athletes trust us with their care and their careers because we're a recognized leader in sports medicine.
Get back to your active life sooner with MedStar Sports Medicine.
White Market's ice cream plant is based in Sunbury, Pennsylvania, and is locally owned and operated. We've been making our ice cream for nearly 50 years. We create roughly 70 flavors of ice cream right now. We use local ingredients, especially our cream, which is from our milk plant. The cream is what gives our ice cream a rich and creamy texture. Now, together with our customers, we've created a product called Peanut Butter Indulgence, which will be coming out this summer. It's a peanut butter ice cream with sea salt caramel swirl, chocolate-covered pretzel. How can you go wrong with that? Personally, I love our ice cream. If you come to our house at any given time, you'll find at least 5 packets of ice cream in our freezer. Our kids grew up eating Wise quality ice cream, and now we get to treat our grandchildren to it. It's been a pleasure for me to be tasting ice cream for over 40 years for Wise Markets, and I'm loving every minute of it.
Welcome, fans, to another edition of the Tiger Football Report. I'm your host, Spiro Morekas, along with the head coach of the Tigers, Rob Ambrose, and this is the first playoff edition of the Tiger Football Report, and the first one in 5 years. And, Coach, the Tigers back to the FCS Playoffs. I know I was there with the team yesterday when the announcement came, and that was one happy room full of fellas.
There were a lot of emotions, on Sunday, and this is, I guess you can kind of equate it to March Madness, except they got 64 of them, and we only got 20-some, and it's a very rare thing to be able to get into the playoffs. It's a very rare and special thing. That there's just too much good football out there. There's too many good football players, good teams, and yeah, it's been a while. And I think that was weighing heavy on everybody, that they'd worked very hard, and yesterday was validation for a year's worth of work.
6 teams in the CAA get into the playoffs. Only one is seeded, and that's Maine. So you've got 5 other teams out of the 14 at-large bids. 5 of them went to the CAA. I think that says a little something about the conference, which you talk about all the time.
It's true, and when I talk to guys from other conferences that end up playing a game against anybody in our league, they all walk away going, "Wow, wow!" And you guys do this every week, and it's really hard for us because we're all like big brothers. We all kind of beat on each other, but we have to survive physically to get out of the conference to go play everybody else, and that's a really difficult thing to do. And there's some really good football teams that didn't win a lot of good football games because of injury. And we found a way to avoid that bug, knock on wood, for the most part during the season, and it's allowed us to continue on.
So the Tigers will play on Saturday at Johnny Unitas Stadium. Game time is 2 o'clock. And your opponent is Duquesne. Teams have never played each other. Now, Northeast Conference, and last year you played St. Francis. The last couple of years you've played St. Francis out of the Northeast Conference, Central Connecticut State out of the Northeast Conference. This team is led by a running back who's got some numbers, Mr. Hinkle. He's got over 1,300 yards rushing, averaging 5.8 yards a carry.
Big, strong, physical back that the more he carries the ball, the better he gets. And he got an offensive line that supports that, giving him the ball that much. So he's a good football player.
Actually, I said Hinkle. It's Hines. And then you look at their passing attack, and their quarterback, Daniel Parr, he's thrown 19 touchdown passes, only 9 interceptions, and that's on 268 attempts. So he's only throwing 1 interception every 30 passes. That's pretty good.
He's a great game manager, and he's got a wideout who's as good as anybody we face in this league. Offensively, they are very, very talented. They have a multiple scheme, do multiple things, but they can run the ball really, really well.
Defensively, it looks like they give up some yards rushing the football, about 165 yards per game, passing about 210. So their defensive numbers are not stellar, but let's be honest, Towson's defensive numbers haven't been real stellar either. So 2 teams that are giving up about the same amount of yards per game.
They're decent up front. They have a lineman who's a last chance U guy. He's really, really talented. Their 2 corners are really good. Like, they're as good as anybody we play in this league. And they play good, strong competition week after week. So, is it a CAA game? I don't know, but it's a playoff game, so it doesn't really matter. It really doesn't matter who it is. It's not really going to be about them for the rest of the way. It's going to be about us. And we need to do our job as 11 every single play. And if we can just stick back to that, everything will be all right.
2011, 2013, when you made the playoffs, you did not play this week.
Correct.
This is the first time that you're playing Thanksgiving week. How does the holiday play into your normal routine?
Difficult. It's an organizational challenge. We have school Monday and Tuesday this week. We don't have school on Wednesday. Thanksgiving is Thursday. And we're here the whole time. So we're going to practice Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday will still be our off day. It's going to give some guys a chance to get home if they're close enough to Thanksgiving. But once we get back into the groove on Friday, it's just while there's no one here on campus, we're still working like it's a regular week.
And what about those poor guys who can't get home for Thanksgiving because they're, take a Jeff Miller who's from California. He's not flying to California, flying back here. What do you do with those guys?
We spend some time in the hotel as a team because the dorms are closed. For the guy, these guys are pretty attached to each other. So a bunch of guys, I'm going here. I'm going with my buddy here. The 5 of us are going to this guy's house. So we're currently going through the list of dudes. We will host a Thanksgiving dinner at the local hotel that we're staying at, and for those guys, and we'll be eating meals at the local hotel the whole time during the week. But it's an organizational challenge, but it's a good one to do. It's a fun way to do it. That you're talking about housing, feeding, and playing football with a bunch of kids around Thanksgiving. How bad is that? It sounds like every kid's dream.
You've been through the 11-game gauntlet, so now you're into the extra game 12. What do you do from a practice standpoint compared to what you do during the regular season? And have you paired it? I'm assuming you've paired it back over the last 4 or 5 weeks. You can't go as hard as you did early in the year.
Once you get to the month of November, the things that are ingrained foundationally, you really only have to touch upon. You don't have to keep repeating. So every 5-minute period gets cut to 4. Every 10-minute period first gets cut to 9, then 8, then 7. And the reason being is we don't have to repeat stuff. We just, okay, we're doing this, got it. Oh yeah, we're going to do this, got it. And we move a lot faster now.
Your offense has been impressive the entire season. Defensively, I know there have been times where they haven't played as well as you would like them. What do they need to do to stop this Duquesne offense?
Clearly, if we cannot shut down the run game, we're going to have a problem. That's big. And we need to not give up the big play in the pass game. And in the last 2 weeks, both of those things, we've been better against the run in the second half. And we haven't given up the home run in the pass game. Like, we're making plays on the ball. So it is getting a little bit better. We need to play defense like we played defense against Stony Brook. We need to shut that running game down and allow the back end to just keep an eye on that one stud receiver and not let him break the game.
All right, so the Tigers in Duquesne, 2 o'clock Saturday at Johnny Unitas Stadium. We hope you all come out for that ball game. If you can't, Gordy Combs and I will have the call for you on CBS Sports Radio 1300 and TowsonTigers.com starting at 1:45. So for the head coach of the Tigers, Rob Ambrose, I'm Spiro Morekas. We hope we're back here next week talking about South Dakota State, which is where the winner of this game goes in 2 weeks. Anyway, we thank you for tuning in to another edition of the Tiger Football Report presented by the Green Turtle. As always, go Tigers.